Now, here's your hosts, the League Dad, Kevin, Mitchell, and Alistair.
What's up, gamers, and welcome to another episode of the All-In Podcast presented by Excellency Esports. We're so glad you're here tuning in with us, and as always, I got my friends here, the boys, the co-hosts. We've got Kevin, Mitchell, and Alistair. Thank you guys, as always, for being here, but man, what a freaking finals. I mean, what a day in esports in general. We're talking about 3 regions, all best of 5s, all banger games, and it was just nail biting, for C9 and Team Liquid fans, everybody watching finally get to play on a stage. I mean, it's like, I feel like all of this pent up isolation and them actually just playing on a stage and it being so hyped just made me so happy again as an esports fan. But what did you guys think of all the action this weekend?
I thought it was honestly like one of the best weekends for like League of Legends in a really long time. It was just like 3 5-game banger series. And then I was a little afraid that like C9 was just gonna get out 3-1, and I was like a little afraid that like that game 4 was just TL was just gonna stop them. But we went to game 5 and C9 won, and the stage was pretty cool. But I felt like LCS the stage was like kind of a meme. They kept having to fix the sun from blocking people and stuff. But yeah, I mean, for the rest of the regions, it was really cool.
Yeah, I went into the weekend pretty worried as a TL fan. I was like, oh great, is this just gonna be an asterisk? TL's just gonna get stomped because Santorin can show up. And then they're gonna lose to TSM. TSM is gonna get stomped by C9. It's just gonna suck. Honestly, yes, I agree with Mitch. One of the best weekends for esports in a long time. If we ignore LCK finals, there were a great series in LPL and an amazing series in LEC. I don't think it's a spoiler at this point, but definitely go watch it if you haven't. And then I thought the NA series was also just... Actually, I haven't seen that much tension and back and forth drama in an LCS series since the 2015-16.
If you're afraid of spoilers, by the way, don't watch this podcast.
That's all right. Don't worry about it. I already put it in the intro. I pre-recorded the intro for this episode. I was like, the first thing I said was like, if you haven't seen the series, stop now, because we are going to be talking all about it. But Alistair, what did you think of this series, man?
It was interesting, say the least.
Yeah.
I mean, it was very back and forth, and Armao did great. I wish Santorin was in, though.
Yeah, that's rough.
I think I don't know. Maybe it would have been easier for C9 if Santorin was in. Maybe TL would have won. We'll never know. But you'll have to think.
It's unfortunate, for sure. It's funny, we were talking about the stage and how it's kind of a meme, and, they interviewed the players, and Sven particularly, it was funny because the interviewer was trying to, get this nice PR answer out of him, because he was asking, how did it feel to be on stage and kind of get that, feeling again of playing in an arena. And he was just like, actually, it sucked. He's like, it was outside. So the sun was in my face. He's like, he said, if we would have lost, I would have been really upset because he said the stage was moving all the time too. So he said it was just kind of there were, outside factors affecting things. So either way, they're trying to do their best. Not everything's going to be perfect, but for sure we want to maintain competitive integrity. So, but that was just interesting to hear him say that. Now, with this series being such a banger, here's a question for you guys. And before I do that, let's go to our trusty slides. So if you guys are listening right now, you'll just have to imagine this really awesome slides presentation that took me forever to come up with because I'm really slow with graphics. But with all the banger series, do you think this was the most exciting LCS finals ever?
It's definitely up there. I felt like the other 5 games we've had have been different kinds of hype. When you think about, there was TL versus C9 that went to 5 games, but then TL absolutely stomped game 5 versus C9.
Yeah.
That was, I think, 2019 summer. You go back to 2019 spring, another 5 games. It was TL pulling off the reverse sweep, right? And it was this crazy Sven on Ezreal, he kind of just walking up to a Skarner and getting ulted and dying, and then TL gets Baron, and it's that's really exciting for some reasons, but it didn't feel hype. It felt more like a big old meme,
Yeah.
And this one was genuinely hype. So I think actually yeah, maybe it was the best, just 5-game series we've ever had in LCS.
Yeah.
I think it was certainly the best, and I say this as a Liquid fan, a diehard one. Like the Liquid reverse sweep, yeah, definitely a meme. I mean, like it's dramatic, it's hilarious, but the difference was like in that series, it was more often than not, if a game started losing, it just kept tumbling, and you're like, oh, okay, let's go to the next one. And it was only dramatic because it tumbled the other way 3 times in a row. Especially the last game, you could definitely say it was closer, but the way it ended is like, I'm not gonna lie, if I wasn't a Liquid fan, I'd be kind of disappointed. I'd be like, oh, really? That's how it ended?
Yeah.
This one, like, this series, yeah, there were a couple misplays from both sides, but it was like, they're basically limit testing each other over and over and over and clashing. There were games where it's like, oh yeah, there's no way they lose this game. And then it reversed. And then they reversed again. It was so insane. Like, we were doing the live watch party, and I just remember just yelling so many times during that call. Like, the only caveat to this being the best series ever would possibly be because the production was a little off. There was, after game 3 or 4, it was like so much drama and tension built up, and they were just like, let's just pause for an hour. For how many LCS production people does it take to block a little bit of sun from... was it tactical's eyes or someone's eyes?
Computer screen,
yeah. Like I don't know how it's possible how they didn't make this into basically a black box. So yeah. Other than that, that's not the player's fault. The series was great, and also the series before it was great, which is why I think it just built on that hype.
So I'm actually gonna disagree with you guys, and I think it's because I'm a little bit biased towards this series. But 2016 TSM TL, or sorry, TSM C9. So
okay.
That's my number 1.
Okay. That was that a 3-1? That was a 3-1, right?
That was the 3-1 double lift on Lucian.
The double lift Lucian play. That was definitely a highlight. And, there are a lot of moments, right, in LCS, history, finals history where it's exciting plays. And, I was thinking about that too. And there's so many good moments. I think my favorite one is the 2014 when TSM dethrones that legendary C9 roster, right? If you guys remember, Balls, High, Lemonation, Meteos, Sneaky, because that roster was so good and they kept winning. And I was like, man, as a TSM fan since back then, I was really, waiting for the chance to finally dethrone them. And then that game 5, Wild Turtle with the Quadra on Tristana. And I'll never forget, like, the casters going crazy. And, again, bringing back the arena noise into the thing, into the, the VOD also makes it really exciting as well. So either way, there's so many favorite ones, but this one for sure is going to be up there as one of the best. Just 5 games back and forth, 2 best teams grinding it out to see who's the winner. I mean, you can't beat that. As a fan of esports in general, you can't be sad about that game either.
When League gets a Hall of Fame, this is going to be.
That's right. Absolutely. Yep. All right.
100% agree.
Well, here's another thing. Let's talk about the Perkz playoff buff. I got to hand it to you, Mitchell. When first started, you were on the Perkz hype train, and then it didn't kind of work out in the beginning. We were all kind of flaming you and all this stuff. But my man, your boy Perkz is coming through at the end here, making you look like you were the sensible one. You had the right mind. Talk about playoffs, Perkz, and how well he did in this finals, man.
He played way better than he had played basically all year long.
Yes.
In this last 2 weekends of basically just playoffs, right?
Yeah.
Heading into the finals. Yeah, I mean, I was there from the beginning saying Perkz is gonna come in, he's gonna beat everybody, he's gonna be the best mid laner, and he kind of just starts running it. I'm like, I'm kind of worried, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if this is gonna work out.
Yeah.
But I mean, he pulled it together in the end. 5 different champions played in the finals. Kind of not actually playing meta champions, especially with the Zoe, right? And the Sylas is mostly just seen into Seraphine, so played a variety of champions and actually just made the game deciding plays and the game deciding choices. Game 4, that Zoe bubble was honestly kind of bullcrap. It was kind of a stupid Zoe
How
bubble.
did that was so lucky, man.
Yeah. Was it luck or is he just insane? That's
it's
what
luck.
the world's
It's
gonna
luck.
debate.
That thing was
I
so
watched it
good.
in slow motion for 3 minutes. It was luck.
He did it
goes-
multiple times though.
Okay.
He got one in mid lane too to get the shutdown. I mean,
Okay, there was
But
one
the
he got in mid.
specifically in River that went through 3
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
that one. That was the one, that was the game deciding one, but there was one earlier where it felt like TL won a big fight, they killed off Blabber, and then, Tactical went in to try and, duel the Zoe and he got bubbled and he didn't ulti it, right?
Yeah.
That's honestly just Tactical's fault. But like, I don't know. He landed the stuff, and you just have to give him credit whether it's luck or not.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It, like, won them a game. Like, game 4, I thought they were gonna lose. Like TL had, I thought, a better draft. They had like a big advantage, and it's just a couple of like missed Zaya ultis from Tactical that really like finished that one off and brought him to game 5.
A lot.
And then you bring it to game 5, and he is freaking everywhere on the map as Silas. He like. Actually, just benefited so much from the crazy level 1 shenanigans. He got no jungle attention.
Yeah.
He just got to scale up in the mid lane until like he got like a little bit of levels. He just kept roaming and just stealing ultis and getting kills. He kind of inted a couple times too. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, the time he got killed by Alphari under tower when he ulted up there, I was like, I don't know what that was.
yeah, that's
funny. I mean, they were pretty far ahead, so you can take those risks when you're ahead. It's just it's better to do so. I agree. I mean, Mitch and I actually both said that Perkz was going to be big when he came in. I think I fell off the train earlier. God. Like, what is he doing? But he did show his value as a mid laner here. He definitely had more on games than Jensen did. Jensen had like that amazing Aura Shockwave in game 3, like a couple pretty big plays that series, but all in all, it did feel like Jensen was lagging behind in terms of overall number of performances, with the exception on the Ori, because I mean, let's not forget, Perkz just whipped 3 ults in a row on Ori and still won the game. Like, that's not okay. Like, you're basically just getting carried to a good scoreline at that point.
Yeah.
But for the rest of the games, really impressive. Had a huge champion. That Zoe was game winning. Like, all those interactions, the game-winning fight was literally just off the back of Zoe. A lot of champions cannot find ins like that, other than like Zoe and maybe like a really good Lissandra or something like that. So really good on Perkz. I think the playoffs bus is real. I mean, you can see it. We'll talk a little bit about this later, but you can see it on his old team. When he's gone, there's a huge difference in presence in playoffs. And I don't think it's a coincidence that the trajectories changed, where C9 just like couldn't win anything that mattered, and then G2 could just always win when it mattered.
Yep.
Well, I mean, what I'll say is we now know how much it takes to buy a player.
Yeah, 6 million's not enough. Sword Art, they should have paid him 11 million.
I know.
I mean, I don't think I don't think anyone really didn't expect this from Perkz. I mean, nobody watched.
I don't know. Yeah.
There's no way you go from being one of the best players to just running it in NA and for funning like that. It doesn't work like that. I mean, I don't know. But
you know, not immediately for sure. Yeah,
exactly. Not immediately. Like,
I mean,
there was like some visa issues or something. And it takes time to mesh to the team.
For sure.
That's what I chalk the early season up to. Congrats to C9. I mean, they played really well. They deserved it. The Sven timeline is broken.
The timeline is broken.
I'm so sad, dude. The meme is dead.
It's dead. Him and Perkz now are the only players to win both LEC and LCS titles, which is pretty amazing.
So for any of the viewers who don't know the Sven timeline, basically the idea is he will join a team, TSM, in 2018. And for the first time in their history, they don't make it to Worlds. They don't make it to International. Actually, they didn't even make it to Finals in that playoffs with Sven. And then another, 2 years pass, he's on TSM. They don't make International. He goes into C9. They win Spring. MSI is canceled. Doesn't go to International. They don't even make it to Worlds in summer. He has finally broken the curse. He's going to MSI. Sven is... Wait, it took him 3 years now in NA to
maybe that's why he ran up on the stage and grabbed that trophy right when they won, because he was like, the timeline is broken. I can finally be free from the curse. But yeah, it's pretty. I mean, I'm happy for him. Vindication always feels good, and he has been consistently good. He has his moments, but good for him. But going back to Perkz again, I mean, let's just talk about how good his finals was a little bit more in depth, because he played 5 different champions on all 5 games. That's pretty amazing. Yeah. And we're talking about Seraphine, an Enchanter, Ori, Victor, like Control Mages, Zoe with the poke, Silas, who's like a fighter. And
I don't know if you played Ori. We
can
talk about that later.
We can talk about that. But the point is that, you know, one thing I notice in like LPL and other regions is the versatility that these you know, players have. You see much wider spread of draft comps than you do in LCS because their champs pools are so small. But being able to see Perkz like this, give them that flexibility is pretty amazing. And the fact that he played so well, he had an 8.3 KDA in this finals. He played well in his other games too. But, I mean, that was by far his best series, which is the final. So the playoff buff and what you were saying there, Alistair, you know, where I don't think anybody really believed that Perkz was going to fall off. Man, the reason I was saying I don't know is because I was commenting for Perkz and saying playoff buffs, and I remember somebody commenting being, "What do you mean playoff buffs? He sucks." And I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? Yes, he did suck, but he is getting back to form. And so, no, I'm a believer in the playoff buff. I'm actually eating my words now because he's succeeding. Anything else on Perkz before we move on?
I'll say that if Niski was playing that series, there's probably less of a chance they win just because of the pick bans. Like, oftentimes you'll see like NA teams do really well week 1 of Worlds because they have a strat, they have their picks like figured out, and then the second something gets banned, like some teams just drop off a cliff. Like the Galio for Niski or Damante or the TF, stuff like that. Once that's banned, like unironically, these pro players sometimes just 2-trick or 3-trick, and then they get target banned and it's over. Yeah. So I think Perkz brings that to the table.
Yeah.
I also would say about like just Perkz, like he didn't play perfectly. He missed a ton of shockwaves.
Yes.
And that was kind of sus. I was like, you missed like 3 shockwaves in a row. In game deciding team fights. He still ended up winning the game, but it was like didn't have to be that hard, man. Like that's not good. So he's not perfect, right? And like when we go on further into this podcast, we're going to talk about C9's hopes at MSI, and that's something I'm going to be thinking about a lot.
Okay. You know? Yeah, for sure. Definitely. All right. Let's go on to the next thing that was awesome. The Game 5, the creative level 1 play. I mean, I haven't seen Azael get that hyped since I don't know when, because that dude was going crazy. It was pretty ingenious. It was pretty cool to see. I mean, we see the Sion lane swap with the, who was it? Tristana Alistair, right? And, you know, Sion goes bot, takes his own camps by suiciding, and then they level 1 invade the top side in Armao's jungle and take those camps. And now, effectively, they control 3 camps with only allowing Armao getting 1. And then they happen to get that kill onto Alphari, level 1 on the Cho'Gath. I mean, that was just crazy strategy. And the fact to pull it off in Game 5 was even more amazing. And that just set the tone for the whole game.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were thinking, like, Game 4 was also elimination match, too. And they didn't decide to pull off that level 1. So very clearly, like, they were confident they're going to win Game 4, or they didn't even have the strategy prepared and they just came up with it between Game 4 and 5. Like, because...
Well, let me interrupt you real quick because that's a good question. They did say, because they asked them about that level 1 play, they said they'd actually practiced that level 1 play for months, but they had been hiding it, and they said that they hit it all in the playoffs because they wanted to wait and see when a good time to do it was. So they would pick Sion, but not lane swap so that nobody would ever suspect. And then I think maybe with the Cho pick, the fact that, you know, he kind of struggles, you know, going against 2 people, staying away from the wave.
Escapes level 1. Yeah.
Exactly. So I don't know. That could be right. But I just wanted to address that point because I know you'd mentioned it. So go ahead.
No, that's good to know. That's good to know because it's like also like it has to only work against teams that they don't invade level 1 to get deep wards.
Yes.
And it has to only work against teams that like they do the default jungle pathing, right? Every single game was just default jungle pathing. I get leashed or whatever. And I just clear my own jungle and it's just respect, right? It's like gentleman's like jungle. And like we didn't see any crazy level 1s basically all of playoffs. So I think like that's kind of like what did it to them too. Like is that TL just did not have creativity in the jungle, you know? It's like whether it's Santorin or Armao, whether it's the coaching or whether it's just like they value consistency, they're not willing to flip the game level 1 and just make chaos.
Yep.
So, I mean, I think that's a big deal that it worked against Team Liquid, but like other teams are like, they're gonna like be like, yo, we have a better level 1. We're actually just gonna be like, we have a 60% level 1. We're just gonna take that.
Yeah, we're gonna take it. Yeah.
You know, we're gonna take the 60%. We have a slightly better level 1, and yeah. So I mean, it's exciting, but it's never gonna work again.
Yeah, I would. I mean, it's the first time I've seen something that like big brain specifically tailored for one team, one play style, counterplay since like 2015 EDG MSI versus Faker with the LeBlanc Morgana counterpick. Like, like stuff like not it's not even the Morgana counterpick. It's the whole team comp counterpick.
Yeah.
Like, because it's clear that they played Sion, or they game 4 they just didn't do it because it wasn't a good Sion game, but like they had a lot of faith in the Sion to bait Team Liquid to something. I don't think they expect a Cho'Gath because Liquid hasn't shown Cho'Gath much, if not, and they might.
I don't know when. Yeah,
but like they basically haven't shown it at all, if once or not at all. And like, so there's, I mean, it's just bonus points. But they saw that and they're like, all right, I mean, this is gonna work even better. And you know, Liquid just didn't have the reps in to figure out what to do against it. I'm gonna put it down right now, like. I'm gonna sound like a salty fan, but Armao just physically cannot know what to do there because he just doesn't play with this team. Like, this is basically like when you know your opponent has a ringer in a tournament, and like, or in house, and just like, all right, let's cheese that guy. Because like if it's all standard, like Armao did well. He did pretty well.
Sure. Yeah.
Sans the fact that he was never there for First Bloods out of 5 games. Like, I'm gonna transition this by saying like, I think Alphari played poorly. You 5 First Bloods is more so on you than anyone else. But the next person in line for blame is definitely your jungler. There's no world that the jungler doesn't realize, hey, I should be topside at least once during this game.
Yeah.
If we look back to the lock-ins, Santorin was like, okay, it's game 5. I'm pretty sure I should, or game 4 or 5. I should be top lane right now. And then they just camped the crap out of Fudge, destroyed them with the GP cheese, and then just won.
Yeah.
So my point at the end of the day is that like it was extremely smart. They deserve that win. After that happened, like even if Liquid had won, I'd be like, damn, they should have won. C9 should have won. And we were like, the Liquid fans in the call were just like, oh, I got to give it to C9. It was just a really, really well planned thing.
Yeah.
You have to play with the cards you're dealt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree some blame can go to Armao, I guess, but Alphari saw it coming every single time.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous that
you
that's
can't
happening.
say jungle diff if you're dying to the same thing 5 games straight.
Yeah. And I mean, the thing is, I guess in that situation, Cho'Gath is thinking, Alphari's thinking that they're leashing top or something, and he's trying. I don't know why he was positioned so far forward, other than he thinks, okay, I'm going to try to get a push advantage or something. But that was just really bad for him because he had no clue that they were invading. But
it wasn't just on Cho'Gath; it was on.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm saying the Cho'Gath one was the only one that was kind of different, though, I guess, because it was level 1.
I don't even know if I agree with that. Like, there's a certain extent to like, dude, where's Sion? There's no way he's actually.
Yeah, exactly, like, right.
It's you gotta have a little bit of like top lane Spidey sense.
Yeah.
And be like,
something's amiss.
Like, if Sion is that late to lane, dude, I'm literally just like. Some weird stuff.
Something's happening, yeah. Or let me just wait at least. Like he wasn't missing any minions. He could have just stayed there for wait till last hit.
He's just greedy. Like he's got top lane syndrome for sure.
Yeah.
Man. He's so greedy to get his wave shoved in. He's so greedy to like shove a wave in so he can get extra grass procs. Like this is something I noticed throughout the entire series. Is like he always shoves his waves. He doesn't freeze. He doesn't hold them. He always shoves them. He doesn't ward too. He really doesn't have good ward timings, and maybe it's because of Armao, right? Maybe Santorin would have communicated better. But like, where's the jungle tracking, right? Shouldn't you be timing when you shove and when you hold?
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
With when your jungler is there or not there, or with if you start opposite side of your jungler, right? It's synced. When your jungler's on the opposite side of the map, the enemy jungler is on your side of the map.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's just. He's just like cocky or not thinking or like brain lag. I don't know, but like this is basic stuff. This is like stuff we'll see plat teams do. This is what my team used to do. Like we know this stuff. It's very basic. So I was actually really disappointed with Alphari and his like just his top lane knowledge of like he thought it was an island, and it's not.
Yeah. And I mean, I had that actually later in the, on this topic of C9 Team Liquid, because that was a point of contention, was Alphari, getting first blood at every game and just his performance overall. And so while we're here, we might as well unpack him just a little bit more, because he was the guy where, people were even thinking maybe MVP. But in this series,
he was the MVP of the series.
God, you got me so good. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, what? I was like, wait, how? Oh, I got it. Yeah,
got him.
Got me. Boomer brain. That was a good one, because actually, yeah, it was like he was playing for freaking C9, because I don't know. This was, I want to point out something that I don't know if this is Alphari just inting against C9 or C9 doing a good job at containing him, because throughout the playoffs, Team Liquid only played TSM. They played them twice, and then they played C9 twice, right? And both of the C9 games, they held Alphari down. I mean, in a matchup where you are expecting Alphari and Fudge to be the gap, I was so surprised that Team Liquid did not make more of an effort to get Alphari activated. And vice versa, it looked like Fudge was able to get Fudge. I'm sorry, not Fudge. Blabber was able to get Fudge activated against Alphari. And so to me, that didn't make sense. It should have been the opposite. It should have been Team Liquid trying to make these proactive plays for Alphari. So, you guys mentioned it all.
After this.
Yeah, well, say that again.
I'm going to contest that after you're done.
Go ahead. So, you go ahead. That's all I was going to say.
I'm pretty certain this was I'm going to look stupid because Liquid lost, but Liquid won 2 of those games that they got first blooded, and they could have won the 3rd one very easily. This is very clearly, in my mind, this is the Liquid strategy all along. Like, Jack doesn't go back and say, like, okay, we've died first blood 4 times. Yeah, let's do that again, okay, Alphari? Like, it's very clearly that they knew that Armao is the new jungler. He doesn't have a lot of synergy, so they're just like, you just be a pressure magnet the way IG plays it too. They just have this guy always there. He's like, does he have his jungler there? Does he not? If he does, then this is a bad play for me to counter or to gank. But if he isn't there, then I can punish him. And he always plays that fine line. He does that during the regular season too. But typically, the difference is that Santorin takes a lot of things as like to compensate for that.
Yeah.
So like if Alphari dies, Santorin's on Dragon. The problem is like it takes 2 deaths instead of 1 death for Armao to take the first Dragon, and then you see that compound. The fact that Liquid almost won 3-1 that series with him dying 4 times in a row is not a coincidence. It's very clearly that they were trying to get pressure for the other lanes. Like, did you ever see bot lane get seriously ganked? Like, maybe twice that whole series. Maybe once. And Jensen basically got no pressure. And you saw Fudge get resources on Malphite and basically power inted. Like, there were fights where he just didn't use his ult until he died, and he just still had his ult up as a full tank Malphite at 35 minutes. So, like, in my mind, it's like, yeah, you're probably going to expect at least 1 or 2 deaths, because he's just always pushing him. His jungler's never there.
Yeah.
Like, he just doesn't expect his jungler to be there, or he's actually literally telling his jungler not to be there. Yeah. I don't really know. But it kind of played out that times Armao just was indecisive. I don't know if he didn't know the game plan. Like, he'd be clearing top pink ward after Armao, or after his top laner died. I'm like, just go to Dragon. Why are you clearing top pink? There's no point. It is definitely jitters there. And I'm pretty sure it's like a makeshift plan that you put in place because you have a crutch, or not a crutch. You have a
backup
heal. You have something dragging you back, and you just like, how do I put less pressure on him? I just put a giant vacuum in the top lane, just like the Shy plays, and he could go 0-7, but I know he's going to win the team fights. He's going to be good. So we'll win elsewhere. But the problem is we weren't winning elsewhere. We were winning elsewhere in like 3 or 4 games, honestly. So I don't really... I don't think it's a huge issue. I'm willing to die on this hill, and I think Alphari comes back next season with Santorin. They're just going to look amazing again. They're going to look like MVPs again. It's not a coincidence.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we were all talking about this in the watch party, a bunch of us, and I do agree with you. I do think it was the strategy for Alphari to be the pressure magnet, but there's a pressure magnet and then there's inting.
Yeah.
Like, I think he was crossing the line a little bit, right? Because like, sure, once or twice, yeah, I get it. You're like being a hard camped and they're focusing you. I got that, but at the same time, he's dying to it every single game. You can absorb pressure and not die.
That's a good point. Yeah,
especially as a Gnar.
Yeah, I also think the other laners are good enough to where he doesn't, I don't think, need to do that. Like Tactical Core can hold their own. Jensen can hold his own. In my mind, if they want to, create a pressure point, it should be the top lane because Alphari is good. I don't like if that is the strategy. I don't like that strategy of just like, okay, you just kind of play inty, and hope that people are drawn to you, which they were, because it eases pressure elsewhere. Like, I don't like that strategy. I'd rather they be the proactive one and say, we're going to put pressure on this matchup because you're so freaking good. Like, he can gap them solo, but if we get Santorin up here, I mean, just look how Blabber plays. If Blabber can make Fudge, and this is not to take away from Fudge, because Fudge has improved, but if Blabber can make Fudge look like a top laner in the LCS, then I feel like with a player like Alphari, Santorin should be good enough to do the same thing. And how much more could they excel, with a guy like Alphari instead, comparatively to Fudge?
It depends really on what Team Liquid thought they had a meta read on. They thought they had a meta read that weak side top was the move, and that's just, that's what Kevin was saying too, that TL was just all-inning on this idea that top lane is weak side, we play towards dragons, or we play towards more consistent jungle farm, right? Because jungle is really powerful.
Yeah.
So, like, I get what Kevin is saying, and I see what TL was trying to do, but then I just have to agree with Alistair that he rode the line too far. He died a little too much. Just a little bit, And yeah, they still won some of the games, and I think that really does go to show how, like, Alphari is 0-2 and he's still winning the games, so like that's a big deal. But to League Dad's point, what if he was 2-0 and winning the games? Maybe it would be harder.
Yeah.
So I think TL is just gonna have to look back and be like, was this the meta read? And they could still say yes, they could still say no, or they could come somewhere in between and realize, okay, it's fine that Alphari, it's like, there's a good death, right? A couple of these deaths are probably good deaths. He gets the wave shoved in, his jungler's counter jungling on the other side, or they're getting dragon. Other times it's just like, you just died for free there, man. You just died for free. So
that's what Kevin was alluding to earlier. It's like, if Alphari's dying, but you get the first 2 dragons for free off of it, and your top laner's still up CS, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an acceptable trade. But when you're dying and then Hashinshin teleporting,
I almost choked on my drink. I almost choked on my drink.
I had to process that for a minute. I was like, oh boy.
That's why Alistair, why Alistair gets you is because his jokes are just at the same tone as his normal speech. So I can't tell that it's a joke. And then it takes me like 2 seconds and I'm like, oh crap, I missed it. Got it. Yeah. That's good. Nice. I think there's a lot of things we could say about Team Liquid. What I think, if you're a fan, and I know, Kevin, you are, but for many people in the Discord as well, if you're a fan of Team Liquid, you could be happy because they fought with Armao and could have won. That's pretty impressive. That's why I had Armao in here. Yeah, they could have won, and give credit to Armao. I mean, what a dude coming in, last minute and playing as well as he did. Yes, he did make mistakes probably, and who knows what would have happened if Santorin stepped in, but that's neither here nor there. Either way, I think it's fine. But one more Team Liquid bit is I want to talk a little bit about CoreJJ because this man is freaking, to me, still the king of supports in NA. Vulcan is amazing, yes, but I watched a lot of Core, first against TSM and then against C9. And this guy's playmaking is top notch. His Rel, his Thresh. Oh my gosh, he busted out his Thresh and it looks so good. It made me want to play. I played Thresh today just because of that. And, of course I inted, but I was just like, I felt like CoreJJ, man, just watching him play. And that's why I love seeing him on playmaking supports. And I feel like it was, if not for him making some of these picks in the TSM series, they probably wouldn't even have made it because TSM did throw, but I think a lot of it was because CoreJJ set up some great plays. But what did you guys think of his play?
Yeah, CoreJJ was pretty good. I mean, his rel was insane. I just thought he got caught too much, if I'm being honest. Some of the times he got caught were actually like, not like game defining, but definitely like tempo loss, like massive tempo losses that snowballed into other things that led to other mistakes. And like, especially game 5, right? When they had that crazy level 1, they were down 1,000 gold at 2 minutes. It was like, after that, CoreJJ was really desperate to make plays, and I don't think he had.
Yeah, he did.
Had actually a massive scaling advantage in that series, in that game 5. And I mean, him just giving 2 free picks and like giving over more gold and tempo and dragons and stuff was like, That was bad.
Yeah,
so,
you're right.
That's, I mean, like, live and die by CoreJJ, right? He makes the massive, craziest plays, but when, we see this with Mickey, we see this with Hylissang, when you go for those big plays, sometimes you're going to miss out, right? Because they're not 100-0, plays. They're like 60-40, 70-30, 50-50. So, yeah, he got cut out. And it sucks because, honestly, he was kind of 1v9 in some of the games what they should have lost, and they ended up winning. So,
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, his rel engages are absolutely bonkers.
Yep.
Yeah, a little bit of a lukewarm take. I wouldn't say it's a hot take. I always think that Vulcan has like a case for being the best support until I see them match up against Core. I think that Vulcan is great and he has some strengths. Like he has a little bit more stability than Core, especially during this series. But like, there's no other player that I've just like sit down and I just like watch the MVP of the series or of the league, Blabber on the other side, just completely look worthless. That. He outplayed, well, him in tactical, but he facilitated so many outplays on that Nocturne and just made that.
That was so with the Thresh. That's when he played Thresh. So
his
good.
Thresh was just made the other guy just like don't pick Thresh, don't pick Nocturne for the rest of the series.
So good.
Where you pick it.
Yeah.
I honestly, it's a little bit on the draft. Like, why did you leave Thresh up? But like, he played it immaculately.
Yeah, he did.
And then his rel engages. Like there was the Vulcan engage where he flashes the wall and rel engages and just whiffs over and over. And then there's CoreJJ's engage where he just like, when they're just down a lot, especially we'll talk about in the TSM series, but like his rel just looks broken at times. Like sometimes you're just like, how is that fair? How can he just suck everyone in and then set up for an amazing follow-up? So I will say he inted a lot. That one of the losses, game 2, was on his back. He died first. Then they dived his AD carry in his own base. Yeah. Then they killed Jensen, and then that's how the game turned around. And I was like, why are you dying there, right? So it is live and die by Core sometimes. And honestly, he looked like the MVP. He would probably have been the MVP for Liquid if they had won.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yep. I mean, I don't have anything else to say.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's pretty. Again, I just wanted to spotlight him because I just. I think sometimes I forget about how good he is, and it was pretty cool to watch him. So speaking of the TSM series, like I said, I feel like even though he didn't win the MVP, and I am a TSM fan, so I guess we have to talk about them, but I'm really, this is why I think if you're a Team Liquid fan, you're happy because at least you see them fighting. It was a great series. It was awesome. But if you're a TSM fan like me, you're looking at this last series they played against Team Liquid and you're shaking your head wondering, oh my gosh, what is happening? There were so many throws, so many errors, games that I just don't know what's happening anymore. And honestly, moving forward, I'm a little scared. But that series, man, how could you throw some more meme for TSM is just, it's just truer and truer. I can't even deny it. It really sucks. But what's your thoughts on TSM?
Before we go to TSM,
yeah,
I do want to say one more thing about Cloud9.
Okay.
And this is my personal take. I think the biggest reason for Cloud9's success isn't just the change in players. I think it's more so the change in coaching. I don't know you guys
interesting.
Think
yeah.
That's a good point. They did win coach of the split, right? Rainover did, right?
I don't remember who won it.
I think they did.
I think so.
I'm like 95% sure they did, but that's.
Let me just tell you a little secret. If you don't know who the coach of the split is, just look at who won the split, and it's like 90% of the time.
Yeah, that's true.
Because no one really knows what they're doing behind the scenes, so a lot of the voters are just like, "Oh, C9 won." But anyways, it was probably C9.
Well, you know what I could, I kind of can agree with you there, Alistair, because of the fact that, when they interviewed them after they won the series, I think it was Sven actually that said they owed a lot of their success and improvement to their coaches. And he listed all of them. I think there were some coaches that I didn't know they were coaches like Vigar, Vigar 2 or something like that.
So yeah, that's an interesting take because definitely like Reaper had a very distinct coaching style where he had full autonomy over the draft and he pretty much told people exactly what to play, when to play it, when to pick it. And he called his players dummies. He called the players dum-dums and insulted them. So it's like you have to wonder like, maybe Rainover has been watching from academy or whatever as an assistant coach or whatever he was before in C9 and just take what Reaper didn't do well and took what he did do well and just kind of was better. Because we know Reignover is a great jungler in the past. So
yeah.
Blabber is insane, right? So there's got to be some correlation there. I think it is an interesting take for sure. And then, we can go right back to TSM, right? This is Bjergsen's first split coaching that team,
Yeah.
and you can see how they have almost the exact same problems in sort of different ways that old TSM with Bjergsen on the team had, right? Really ignorant drafts, really remember how long it took them to get into Udyr?
Yeah,
That
I
just took
know.
them forever, right? They're just super stubborn with drafts. I also think just playstyle wise, right? It's instead of the old do nothing and lose TSM, which was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Last year when Bjergsen was on the team, it was get really far ahead in the early game and just completely throw away the mid and late game.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Exactly, it's still the same exact thing. Whether Bjergsen's on the team or on the coaching staff, they keep throwing some of these crazy early game leads they get. TSM definitely, we said this freaking 2 weekends ago. TSM definitely could have won way more games against Team Liquid. Happened again this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, first, to give credit to C9, to coach Perkz is a big deal. Because, I forget if it was Zen or someone said that Grabs was useless on G2.
Okay.
They won a lot, and he was just yeah, I mean, Grabs didn't do anything for us, basically, other than, tell us some things that we, just reminders. But if you see on this team, it takes maybe I'm giving too much credit, but it does take a lot of faith for a coach or a lot of faith and wisdom to be hey, Perkz is just good on Zoe. It's not meta. It's not usually good, but it probably could win us a game. And so let's throw it in here, but then let's make a draft that makes sense around it.
Yes.
How can we have Blabber paths so they can abuse Armao and abuse Alphari's tendency to just be a greedy top laner? If I'm a jungle, pathing king, Rangover used to be, I would just watch VODs and be this guy's just shoving. He has never frozen a lane in his life, so let's abuse that. I think the old Reignover team would have gotten them still more success during the regular season, in my opinion. But then when it matters in a series, I don't think his adaptation, his stubbornness would have made them lose. Because they could have been this is what I expect from C9. They're gonna play this, and this, and we'll beat them. And that wild card in Game 5 is definitely either a head coach or some lane analysts made that decision. The coach was all right, let's do it. Game 5. Not Game 4, Game 5. Actually crazy that they didn't pull it out Game 4, by the way. I mean, they were able to identify, this isn't the draft to do it in. Let's wait till the last game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
if it happens.
Who's to say we don't get a random Yuumi Ezreal game, Game 2 after they...
Oh my goodness.
Let's just be honest here. That's not out of the realm of possibility with Reaper.
Yeah.
And I would have actually put money that we see an Ezreal game from Sven. I honestly think Reignover is the biggest reason they won that series, not Perkz.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty crazy considering the paycheck that Perkz got. But I would say that you're right though, because we've seen some people be good, right? A certain style, certain way. And then when they play, the coach or the team they don't utilize that, right? I feel a lot of times TSM's junglers, so to speak, were these aggressive, known for their aggressive playmaking. And then when they went to TSM, they became, the meme was that they just became a control ward, right? A walking control ward, because TSM would try to force them into this play style where instead of enabling them to play how they play and work around that. And so what I like about C9 and what I've seen is that, yes, Blabber, we knew he had the carry potential, but he would int a lot. He still ints at points, but you could tell with coaching, he's been getting better at controlling and not letting it happen too often, but yet you could still see the aggressive nature. And I think same thing with Perkz, right? To have a beast like that, you have to enable him. He's going to play 6-7 different champions. All right, let's try to work around that. That's what you paid the money for.
Dive the Nexus.
Yeah. That was so funny, man. They're just so crazy.
Let's just dive the Nexus.
Yeah, why not?
The thing with coaching, right, is if you're gonna have the coaching, you're gonna have better coaching means better, or more play styles, more opportunities, which gives you the chance to play more of these champions.
Yeah, right? Absolutely.
Yeah. You see a lot of players. They actually have a good champion pool, but the coaches don't let them play it because they feel like the team has a niche.
Yeah.
Or it's just coaching, throughout a whole split gives you higher practice quality too. So you can actually get through going oh, we can't play this one champion because we keep messing it up. They actually just figure it out and they improve and stuff. And they can actually be yeah, we are confident on this this pick now, where I'm sure tons of teams have come up with weird counter picks and weird meta picks, but then they do it in practice and they're like, we're not confident in it. But with good coaching staff, it's just like, we're confident in this. We figured it out. We practiced it. We had good reviews with this. Let's just pull it out. Totally agree.
Absolutely. Okay. Well,
in the TSM. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So in the TSM series, just to show the difference, it's like we all know Lost is amazing on Kai'Sa. He has won so many big games on Kai'Sa. Games 1 and 2, they're just like, yeah, we're gonna prio Tristana, and he threw. Was it game 1 or 2? He just jumped in at the end and threw after he had survived a bunch of onslaughts of attacks. Game 2. But even game 1, he just wasn't as effective as he could be, and they're just like, yeah, let's just force 2 losses on his worst champion, not worst, but a champion that he's not as good on. And then game 3, we'll magically win with Kai'Sa and a comeback game. And you even see Lico's like, well, Annie's. No one has played Annie anywhere ever except in gold solo queue, and let's just play it, and we'll trust them to execute Annie Nocturne GP some Bronze Zodiac comp essentially is what I was saying in the chat. And they were down 8k gold and somehow they won because it's the picks they won in draft. They played poorly, extremely poorly in the early game, and they still won in draft because no matter what they did, they could just bash their heads on the other team and win. And while TSM's picks were just like, what are we doing here?
Exactly.
Why are we here just to suffer?
Lost that game.
I felt awful. So bad for Sword Art. He smurfed the early game so hard on Gragas in game 2.
Oh yeah, he did.
He did not come out with a win.
Yeah.
He kind of just didn't get to win, even though he probably deserved it. That was
That's sad face.
For him.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, looking into, I don't know if we're transitioning forward, but looking into the future of TSM. I mean, to be fair, guys, TSM's first split with Bjergsen as a coach and basically 4 new players with Spica. They honestly took a while to figure out the identity with Huni playing completely weak side. Don't even go up there. Don't even look at that, right? They're not really that. I don't think you should be that scared if you're a TSM fan. Yeah, they weren't even close to the top 2, right? It was top 2 and then a giant fissure in between the 3rd place, right?
Absolutely.
But then there was a pretty big gap between 3rd and 4th. So they're right up there where they need to be to improve. And I don't know, I'm honestly not that worried. I think that they can still make it to Worlds next year. It's whether they win the split, I'm skeptical of, but I think they will probably end up making it to Worlds next year.
I will say that
this year.
It is kind of scary. Alistair said this earlier. It is kind of scary that TSM is our 3rd place team because they look bad. I'm not going to lie. I mean, yes, there's a big gap between 3, TSM and the rest of NA because NA is bad. But I've been watching a lot of the playoffs in other regions. I usually don't watch other regions that often because I don't have time. But during the playoffs, I always like to just check it out and see how teams are doing. And just the difference is just night and day. And I know that's said over and over again, right, NA? But yeah, I want TSM to do well, but man, they are a long ways off, I think, from being able to compete. I wouldn't have wanted really TSM to go to MSI. I'm happy that C9 is our representative. I would have been happy if TL was our representative, honestly. So, but yeah, it goes to show me, for me, as a fan, I am a little worried, even though they did, place 3rd, not bad. But sometimes I feel like they just get into these ruts where, same problems over and over again. And I kind of wonder if, they're going to do anything to change those. We'll have to wait and see, obviously, but I don't know. I get a little concerned sometimes because I feel like they just get back into the problem. I'll be fine.
I don't think they'll be fine. I don't think they'll be fine until they put Bjergsen as a positional coach. He's the you won't see any okay, granted he doesn't have much coaching experience yet, so he could grow into it like other people have grown into their roles, but my problem is I just see a discount TSM in terms of the way they draft and the way they play the games out. You have Sword Art shot calling now, which is better, but you don't have Bjergsen's clutch factor in the game. So it's you just have him sitting there telling you how to pick the characters that he's not piloting, and then you watch the game and you're like, did they just get 19-0'd? Did Technical just fountain dive just to give up a kill, but not actually give up a kill and just make fun of him? It's embarrassing, honestly. Yeah. I think that he's much better suited to showing his expertise of how to train, how to lane, and all that stuff to PoE in the sidelines. And the problem is I don't know who will coach him because apparently they just never listen to their coaches.
They need to let me coach them. I'll go. I'll coach them. Jeez.
Yeah, they need a real TSM fan to coach
That's
them.
right.
Come on, League Dad.
I've been watching from the sidelines too long.
Budget super team go to. I would rather see one of the budget super teams go to Worlds over TSM.
Yeah.
Really? I think
I would
TSM
rather
needs to
see
go to
CLG
Worlds. I think for
or
NA's
EG.
like viability, TSM needs to be relevant.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're going to Worlds, guys. I mean, like they're not going to Worlds, but like let's be honest, the other teams are really sucky.
That's true. We'll probably get it just by process of elimination of like not because they're third best, but because they're like not the 7 worst or something like that. It's like like
the de facto third
the de facto third place.
Yeah.
Oh, that hurts as a fan.
I mean, if they don't improve enough, we're gonna be hearing all the 0-12 memes, and honestly, I'll be right in on them.
Yeah.
Hey, if they go in to Worlds, they're for the first time not going to be first seed, and they might actually make it out of groups because first seed curse.
And
then it'll be like TSM actually makes it out of groups without double lift.
I know double lift would be
Oh
so
my God.
pissed.
Just for that meme, I need to be there for that.
I want them to go in as third
I want
seed.
TSM to go.
Okay, what if?
I want to see doubles co-stream as they get out of groups.
Oh my gosh!
I want TSM to go for one of two reasons. Either one, they go 0-12.
Yes.
Or 2, they make it out of groups.
Yes.
What
They
if-
make it out of groups and double lift is just
How
on the
messed up-
sidelines, like I retired too early, guys.
How messed up would it be if, because he's technically still with TSM, how messed up would it be like game whatever, like it looks like it's going to be, 3-0, stomp to, or whatever, they're going to get in groups no matter what, or get out of groups, and they just sign like double lift to like a 10-day contract or something. He's their sub, and he gets out of groups. That would be sick.
I made it.
I made it. I did it. Hey, that would be fun just for the memes.
Playing in groups, I just one game.
Yeah.
I
It's just like
legally
Promise
made
Q at MSI when G2 won. It's just
Yeah.
like, yeah, guys, I'm a MSI.
Hey, look, well, speaking of G2, around the web, we only have one, and I think it's pretty big because, again, we don't cover other regions that often. This is an LCS podcast, but I think this is pretty significant that in the LEC, for the first time since summer of 2014, a team other than G2 or Fnatic have actually won the LEC. So Mad Lions and Rogue were both in there, went to game 5. Mad Lions ends up winning. I mean, that was a great series in itself.
Sweep?
But yeah, it's crazy that, reverse sweep. I mean, everything is nuts. But I just real quickly, because this is such a big thing, like I said, I don't follow LEC too much. But if you guys have any insights into Mad Lions, Rogue, there's a lot of people that I've seen for a while, like Odoamne, Larson, Hansama, Humanoid, Karzi. Yeah, exactly.
Basically, Mad Lions, they were at Worlds. They pooped out of what was it? The play-ins.
Yeah.
And they replaced 2 of their players, and they got a whole lot better. They won the whole thing. Elyoya, I believe is his name, is a complete rookie. He went from rookie to winning the entire split and going to MSI. To be fair, though, so was Shadow. Shadow was a complete rookie last year, and he went to Worlds. And so I think it's really exciting to see, like, will Elyoya choke and not do very well at MSI, or will Elyoya be different? Because it's very clear that Mad Lions, as an organization, is very clearly good at finding talent and very clearly good at nourishing that talent to actual success. Because, I mean, Mad Lions is a very new org, right? They went from going to Worlds and having, like, a bunch of rookies make it to Worlds and make it to deep into playoffs to just winning the entire split the next year. It's like, that's an impressive organization, and then it's really exciting to see across the pond be like, yo, Europe is doing some stuff. Maybe we should get some teams to upset the top. That's fun.
It'd be nice. I mean, would you say that this is end of an era? Would you say that?
Oh my God. Is there a new king in town?
Maybe. Not to harp on the cast too much. It's just it echoes in my head a bit after a while.
Yeah.
I will say that it is really impressive. I think that Rogue gets a lot of credit for being the ones to actually like destroy G2 there at the final juncture when it mattered the most. I think that Rogue played really well, and I still honestly think even after all is said and done, I think Rogue should have been the rep. With all that being said, Matt had the mental fortitude. That game 5, like they were down like pretty much what TSM was down, or TSM was up in game 2 against Liquid, and then they pulled it out. They just like they played solid league. They didn't choke, and like that's insane considering like a lot of these people only have 1 year of experience or no years of experience. Basically.
Yeah.
So I am excited for them. I will say that at an international tournament, I don't know if there's enough firepower on the team to beat a Korean team or LPL team. And honestly, I'll say it now. This might be the first time we have like a decent shot, like a 45-55 shot at beating the LEC team. At least if we see them in the bracket. Because I don't think Arma is like that amazing. Like, yes, he was good. He beat Mad Lions in play-ins, and then he's like, all right, now I'm in Mad Lions. Free ticket, right?
Yep.
So that's funny, but like we've seen Humanoid. He's a known quantity. Arma is from play-ins, like probably around Broken Blades level, a little better maybe, because we literally saw him compete against each other.
Yeah.
But I just don't think there's enough raw firepower here. If it was like the Oda, Wame, Larson, Han Sama team, I'm confident that team can compete against Worlds teams.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not that confident. I think Mad Lions just looked better because G2 collapsed, Fnatic collapsed, and Rogue just barely didn't make it through because Rogue had a crazy roster. With Inspired playing the way he did, and Odo, and that roster is crazy. So let's not get too far into it, but congrats to Mad Lions. Yeah. Please make it out of the play-in stage.
Well, please. I mean, here's what I'm a little sad though, you know, because I was honestly expecting G2 to go to MSI. I mean, I really wanted to see C9 go up against, G2 just for the whole, Perkz leaving from there and getting to play his old team. I mean, even Sven too, and Mithy. So that would have been fun to see. It's not going to happen, but I think that's just interesting. Whenever there's like an end of an era, like I was talking about, like when TSM dethroned C9 back in the day, that was a big thing. Or when CLG beat TSM, and that rivalry going on. That's just always cool to see new blood. And just I'd like to see how they do it international. Maybe they'll surprise us. But let's move on to our Discord take of the week. First of all, thank you for all of you guys who found our Discord through Twitter. Again, we do this pretty much every episode, but stay tuned in the Discord for announcements of when to submit your take. We had some really funny ones, so thank you for submitting them. I just want to make an honorable mention first because it was funny to me. And kind of sad, but also true. And it was from Haxabo, and his or her take was TSM should consider a nice career at McDonald's. And as a TSM fan, that hurts, but it hurts good. It's pretty funny. So thank you for that one. But our winner for this week is going to be Fire Streaks. Congratulations. And their take was, it was great. The winner of NA, which at the time he didn't know, but it was Cloud9, obviously. The winner of NA will make the MSI finals. So that's the take. Do you think C9 has what it takes to make MSI finals? Now, we've been to MSI finals before with Team Liquid. Twice, yep. So, what are your thoughts on this? Cloud9, are they good enough?
So, here's my thoughts. Kevin alluded to it earlier, is that it's not G2 or Fnatic at MSI.
That's right.
If we meet Mad Lions in the bracket stage in semifinals, there is a good solid chance we can make it to finals. Wow. I genuinely think so. It's Perkz, right, on C9. Also, C9 doesn't really have this tendency to choke randomly to certain regions, right? Like, it really feels like NA can never beat an LCK team, right? Besides C9 against Africa, right? And then it really felt like a European team can never beat an LPL team, right, for some reason. So when you have NA versus EU, and it's, basically half of C9 is from EU. Yeah. I think there's a solid chance. I think it's up to the bracket stage. It's up to, who gets first or second. Honestly, NA's probably getting second in the group. EU's probably getting first in the group. There you have it. First versus second seed. We have a 50-50 chance of playing versus EU if everything goes to expected.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's an interesting take. I think there's a road to the finals for us.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, we are seeded into a group with Dongwon, LLA, and LJL reps.
Yep.
We're gonna get out.
For sure.
I mean, get out of the
we don't want to curse it. We should.
I don't think it's possible not to, right? We took Jose Diodo from LLA. We should be fine.
Machi.
That being said, I think there's a lot of power in history and name and brand. whenever like teams played against SKT, like it's just well known that like they just played a little worse or they got a little bit more intimidated, other than G2, right? Who just don't give a crap about anything.
Yeah.
And this time around, if we play against not G2, not Fnatic, where there's no history of us getting beaten up, like there's just a laughing stock from last year's Worlds. It doesn't matter if it's like different players in certain spots, like a lot less pressure is there, and we have a lot of veterans now. Like we have Perkz, like who's this team? Like these guys are like the leftovers, right?
Yeah.
Perkz has beaten Mad Lions several times.
Yes.
So
pretty handily. And they have Zen. They have like C9 historically does pretty well against against international competition in general. European teams is kind of a coin flip. Against Fnatic, it's not been great. But Fnatic's not here either. So, you know, we're kind of chilling. I think it's exciting to have C9 train, something that not a lot of people have thought about, but like because we just think we're going to lose Damwon, we get to train against Damwon though in games that matter, sort of. And so just get some data out there and then play against the strong teams in the bracket stage. I think this is the best chance for NA to like make a solid run to finals. I mean, clearly Liquid beat IG, but like that was like a fluke. As a Liquid fan, like there's no way that happens every day of the week, you know?
Yeah.
It's once out of 7 days maybe.
Yeah.
So I really want to see NA do well. I think if we beat EU, we can at least sit on that for a while. I'm really excited for it. I just hope like a natural disaster doesn't happen or something to ruin Zen's Zen's record at international tournaments.
Yeah.
Let's not, I don't want to get into that because that's basically like a conspiracy theory at that point. But like,
I know.
Imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it happening. I'm just we'll have to see how seeding goes. That's the biggest
that's a big one
thing because I would say C9 is probably better than Mad Lions from what I saw. Like if I had to predict now, I would probably give it to Cloud9. But we'll have to see.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I think we know the representatives from the major regions except for LPL. So we have Damwon, we have Cloud9, we have Mad Lions. So we're just waiting on LPL. Do you think it's going to be Fun Plus Phoenix or Top Esports?
It's RNG or EDG are the other options.
Oh, I'm sorry. What? Oh, yeah, you're right. RNG versus EDG. Who do you think's gonna? Is it hard to tell? Is there still? Go ahead.
Regardless of who it is, okay. If we face up against the LEPL team, Perkz is gonna physically implode, and we're gonna lose. Just hope. Just hope.
Let's just hope. Okay.
Perkz gonna have those Vietnam flashbacks, those G2 flashbacks.
My gosh.
Like I've never beaten an LPL team, guys. Hell.
Yeah.
So let's hope they don't run into them.
Yeah.
Whoever it is, I don't care if it's EDG or Top or FPX or freaking Suning, who's not even there. Like I don't care. We're just gonna win against them. So,
doesn't matter.
Yeah. OMG. Like just don't give me LPL team in semifinals, and NA has a real solid chance of making it out. Otherwise, they're getting 0-3. Like Perkz is just gonna implode. I don't know, man.
Perkz will have to place against Doinby again or something like that. Like, if FPX goes,
it's doomed.
And it's Doinby, Tien, and Nuguri on the top side of the map.
Oh my gosh!
I'm pretty sure he's actually gonna have double PTSD from 2 to 3.
Yeah.
Why are you on that team? He better hope he's against RNG if anything, because he has a record against Xiaohu at least. Like it's either even or winning for G2.
Yeah.
So it's at least that, right? You've got that going for you. But RNG is looking crazy with their team. Like Xiaohu's in top lane and they got first seed. Like if you haven't been watching LPL, it's crazy. Xiaohu went from like inconsistent mid laner to top laner, and he's like top 3 top laner in LPL. Like it's wild. If we really want to avoid LPL, like we could beat them on a good day, but it would be a terrifying matchup early on in bracket stage if we haven't gained steam from beating LEC or something.
Yeah.
And all 3 of those teams are just like world's caliber. Actually, not even those 3. There are a lot of teams that are world's caliber teams in LPL. They just only had 3 left over.
They only got exactly.
They would destroy TSM. That's all I was saying. Okay. Like the 5th place LPL team would massacre TSM and probably Liquid too. Honestly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's going to be fun. I can't wait. There's a couple weeks until MSI starts. But thank you again for submitting your takes. Again, be on the lookout for when we put out that form. You can always submit your takes there. And, if we pick yours, you'll win $10 RP. So Fire Streaks, get in contact with me and we'll get that to you. All right, it's time now to talk about the predictions winners amongst yours truly here. We do because I especially want to, but let's go down the list. So out of all, the games, there were 90 plus matches in the regular season and then 24 possible points we could have gotten in the playoffs. So it's a total of 114 points we could have earned this split. So out of that, Alistair, you got 73 points and with a 64% prediction rate. Pretty good. That's actually pretty good because if you've seen the casters ones on LCS, the analyst desk, take a look at that graphic. They list all of them. So Mitchell, you got 80 points, 71.9% prediction. That's pretty good. Kevin, 82 points with 70.1. Oh, that's wrong. I flipped those back and forth. Sorry. Kevin, you're the 71.9% prediction.
Back, man.
And then yours truly, the League Dad, coming in at an 83 point, 1 point victory, and a 72.8% prediction rate. I am the winner of the 2021 All-In Podcast predictions of the Spring Split. Yes! So, look, I would have been happy if anyone else won except Mitchell, but the fact that I got to take it, I got to actually be the one, I'm so very, very happy. But I think really his downfall was him having too much faith in Dignitas. Because that you were on like some massive losing streak because you kept picking them. Hey, but I respect you because unlike you, I jump ship when things go bad. Like, see, I didn't vote TSM.
I would have won.
And I would have lost. See, Kevin, if you weren't so loyal to Team Liquid and you voted C9, maybe you would have won. So,
This is true.
By the way, Kevin,
my head told me C932. Oh, man.
But by the way, Kevin, where's your C9 shirt? I don't see it.
It's on the way, actually.
Oh, it's still not here. Okay. All right. We did not know.
See it on the MSI broadcast. I would have worn it. I mean, it looked like a nice shirt.
Kimmer, don't worry. I still got. I'll hold Kevin accountable. We'll have him wearing that C9 shirt. Hey, but look, they won, so he gets to at least rep the winners, right? Even though that's not his team.
It's my MSI Spirit NA Spirit shirt. It also will look good in the business meeting because it just looks like a nice white shirt with a little cloud on it.
There you go. So that's predictions. We're gonna kind of come up with a way to have a better scoring. I think maybe, I don't know, maybe we can come up with some fun ways, some fun prizes. Let us know in the Discord if you got any ideas, maybe if there could be a prize or a punishment or something to spice it up a little because, we got to make it count for something. Right now, it's just for pride and dignity. And maybe Alistair now will have to play a Yumi game because he came in last. So, but yeah, that pretty much is it. Is there any last things you guys want to talk about? We do have MSI coming up. That's not until, Thursday? Oh, I got these dates wrong. That doesn't look right. It's May 2nd. It's not supposed to be, it's 22nd. It's Thursday, May 2nd until Saturday, May 22nd. So disregard the screen.
So, yeah, I'm just going to say it right now. NA is winning MSI.
Let's
baby.
go!
Come on, we're gonna beat Mad Lions in semis.
Heck
and
yeah!
We're gonna make it to finals.
Yep.
We're gonna hack Canyon's computer.
Yes,
we're gonna
sir.
Make him rage quit.
Whatever it takes.
Win finals. Yeah,
and then we're gonna get body
takes.
because we have to practice on the patch.
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah, we finally do. Yeah.
Hey, we might see Perkz' Akali, which has always been hype. That champion is super busted. So
yes.
We're going to see a way different meta at MSI. It's going to be so
absolutely
different. So that's going to be exciting to talk about. But really, I'm just excited to have like a team that had to really fight their way through finals. And they actually look pretty good.
Yeah.
They actually they can clean some stuff up, of course, but they're creative.
I'm excited.
They're interesting. They got playmakers. They got a hype mid laner. They got a hype jungler. So, maybe they can sub in Fudge for Alphari just for the lulls and maybe get a Giga super top laner.
That'd be messed up.
That'd be really messed up. But besides that, I can't wait.
All right.
Can't wait for MSI.
Cool. Any closing thoughts, Kevin, Alistair? Good? We good to go?
Oh, I mean, C9 deserved it.
Yeah.
Make sure everyone who is fans of Team Liquid, at least, please cheer for them.
Yeah.
I think we have a good shot this time.
D, they suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm hoping that TSM will regain some glory next split, but we'll have to wait.
TSM, man?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Maybe I'm just gonna jump off. I'm just gonna jump off the bandwagon. No, I'm kidding. I can't do that to my team. But for us, it's gonna wrap things up. We don't have a schedule because there's no LCS, but we may be back with an episode maybe on patch when patch comes out or something like that. But if anything, we will have a pre-show covering the MSI. Once all the teams are locked in, we'll have kind of a preview show, so be on the lookout for that. Remember to join the Discord if you haven't. You can join by going to the allinpodcast.info. That's where you can submit your takes to win some RP. That's where we do predictions, where you can do some RP. And if you have any questions, feel free to email us at questions@theallinpodcast.gg, or you can tweet us at the All In Podcast. Thank you once again to Kevin, Mitchell, and Alistair for being here week by week, breaking down all the action. I appreciate you guys. But until next episode, enjoy your climb on the Rift. Try not to be too toxic. And we'll see you all on the next episode. Peace.